Right. I've written something down. It's my supernatural experiences. It's not all of them, and it's very brief. It starts in about 1983 or 84, I'm not sure, and it goes all the way up to 1997. I might do more. I might do the rest up to the current day. But I have spoken about a lot of my more recent experiences, so I don't know. I might do anyway. We'll see. See how it goes. Anyway, so I'm going to read it out as I've written it. So if I struggle a bit, I'm not very good at reading. I'm not very good at narrating, but I wrote it myself, so it's my own fault. Anyway, whatever. Get on with it. Right, the first experience I can remember happened at a local park. The park has a large house or similar building with stone lions at the front. We went on a school trip. I think I was around 6 when this happened. Anyway, as I was looking at the house, one of the stone lions turned its head and looked at me. Nobody else noticed, or if they did, they didn't say anything. After that, nothing really happened for about 2 or 3 years. I think it was more like 2. At the time this happened, at the park, I was living at my grandma's along with my sister. When I was... turn the page. Maybe 7. I think I was 6 actually, but whatever. We went to live... No, I'm not sure now. No, I must have been about 7 or 8. I must have been. We went to live with our dad, but that was short-lived. We were only with him for around 2 months. Then we went to live with our mum and her partner. They had a child, my half-sister, but within a year they had split up, and that's when life became chaotic. Both my mum and dad had problems with drugs and alcohol. When my mum was with her partner, who I'll call M, things were stable, but not anymore. She would go out all the time, leaving us with strangers. He was in her mid-20s, by the way, at the time. Not that that's any excuse, but whatever. I remember the other kids at school teasing me that she was taking drugs. I called them liars. What a sucker I was. Obviously, they were hearing it from their parents. But why were they talking about this in front of the kids anyway? But whatever, I'm not going into that. And into the drugs and alcohol mix was dropped witchcraft, strange books, and tarot cards. I remember looking at them and wondering what they were. I've spoken about this already, but at the time I'd wake up and see mists on the bedroom floor in the middle of the night. I've also spoken of seeing silhouettes of what I can only describe as the vampire from the 1922 film Nosferatu. And I always had an uneasy feeling at night in that house. Not just that house either, but whatever. House, not house. As time went on, nosy people that lived across the road, they know who they are, reported to the authorities that drugs were being sold, and that's not all they reported, but I don't want to talk about the other thing, from the house. This caused the police to kick the front door in at 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. Nothing came of it other than my mother walked out of the house and sent us to live with our other grandparents. These were the grandparents on her side. The others were the grandparents on my dad's side. We were told her house was haunted, but it was much later when I experienced anything there. 2007 to be exact. When my mum got a new house in another town, it was a place I hated from day one. Things had changed, or so it seemed. At the old house, she always had loads of people in all the time, but when hard times come, you find out who your real friends are. None of them were her real friends, just hangers on. She had a house and they wanted somewhere to sit and do whatever, and she led them like a fool. Moronic, really. Anyway, this is why I don't like being around crowds now. I don't like it because of growing up the way that I did. I don't like it. I don't like noise. It's like I can still remember, but I won't be thinking about it. It's just built in. When I'm going off. Where are we? Right, and she met somebody who I'm not going to talk about. He wouldn't like it, and I don't really want to go into it too much anyway. I'm not going to say too much about him. There were problems, the same problems as before. Whatever, I'm not reading that bit out. They'd argue all the time. Even like would be violent at times. I mean, he never hit her. He never hit her, but things were broken and things like that. She hit him. To my knowledge, he never hit her though. And I don't think he would anyway. Where am I? It was at this house I experienced missing time and what I thought was alien abduction. It happened maybe 4 times. Then it stopped. Then it came back later on, but we'll go into that later. Then there was a load of trouble and we had to leave. I don't want to talk about that. So anyway, I'm back to live with my grandma. Just me this time. I was with her for maybe a year, maybe less. I'm not sure. It was not more. It was no more than a year. I think it was more like 6 months or 8 months or something. But anyway, we got a flat, moved in. That's where we did the Ouija board. I was convinced to do the Ouija board. I just thought it was a stupid game at the time. I didn't realise it was more serious than that. But I was talked into it. I still didn't want to do it, but I was talked into it. I got my dog then as well, Coco. But I just want to mention it because, she's my dog or whatever. Or, I loved her and everything. Anyway, we moved from that flat because we got robbed. We got burgled 3 times in 2 weeks. 2 PlayStation 1s. I got the original PlayStation 1 when it came out, and it was the people who lived underneath who did it, we found out. And I'll tell you how we found out, because we had some curtains. They'd taken things out of the cupboards, and the guy it wasn't the guy who lived downstairs, it was people he knew, and they'd sold him some of the curtains, and that's how we knew, because he put them up. Well, he didn't know, otherwise he wouldn't have put them up, would he? But anyway, where are we? So, my mum played with the Ouija board with this guy, the guy who she was with at the time, from, who I've just mentioned, and, like, something came through. I'm coming off script now, let me get back onto it. Right, yeah, at first it said it was my mum's grandma, but when she asked it questions, it didn't know the answers. So then it said it was somebody else, then somebody else, and then it said it was the devil. So she shut it down then, but before it could get shut down, the guy picked up the glass, which apparently is a bad thing. I've never actually looked into why that's a bad thing, but it's a bad thing. Then little things started happening, but then we moved. We moved to this house that was actually on a crossroads. I don't know if that makes any difference, but I'm told it does. So this is the house where I have spoken about it already, where the pictures, I had posters in my bedroom, and one of them in particular, it turned into this demonic, monstrous looking thing. Like the lights were off and I was in bed, and I've already explained, this light came in and went into the picture. Really weird, and it just turned into this demonic thing. Like the eyes went pitch black and all the mouth looked like it had been ripped up, and I have done a video about that. I can do another if anybody wants me to. I will do it. I'll write it down, so hopefully it'll come out better if I do. Anyway, so this was 1997. That was where I was going to stop. I think I will in a minute, actually. But after we lived there, we moved again. I went back to live with my grandma again. My mum was getting ill by this point, though. I did want to live on my own, really, but I felt like if I did, she was going to die, and I didn't want to leave her because of all the problems and, whatever it was. I don't know if I should say this publicly, but she told me that when we moved to that house, the one I've just mentioned with the poster, I didn't know at the time, but something was coming and whispering things to her to harm herself and stuff like that. and she did take a few times, tried to take her own life. More than a few times. And I don't know. I just wonder if it was because of that. It was telling her to kill herself, whatever this thing was. That's what she told me. I never had that experience, but I do know one night I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard something cackle. It was like a witch's cackle. It was horrible. It was one of them things where like I was half asleep and I thought, did that happen or didn't it? And then I went out and my mum was awake. And I told her, I think I've just had a weird dream about somebody laughing. And she said, you heard that too. So, it must have happened. She can't hear my dreams, can she? So, it must have happened. But anyway, I think I've said enough there. It's over 10 minutes, so I don't want to go any longer. That's a very, very brief history of experiences that I've had. I have missed some out. But I think I've already talked about videos anyway. But if anybody wants me to expand on anything that I've said, then just ask and I will. If anybody's interested. But I'll just say thanks for watching now, and bye for now. And if you want to give me a thumbs up, then thanks. And if you're not subscribed and you want to subscribe, then do. I don't know if you've noticed, by the way, but I've shaved all my hair off. It was all sticking up and it was a mess, so that's why I decided to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.